Today's lesson is your review for quiz 6-2, which is over lesson 6.3a and b. In these lessons, we learned how to add and subtract rational expressions when they have different denominators. So let's go ahead and take a look at the first question. In this question, what you're going to notice is that both denominators contain a number and a variable, in this case, u. What you're going to do is you're going to want to write them as their factors. So I'm going to think of 2u as 2 times u, and I'm going to think of 6u squared as 2 times 3 times u times u. Now remember, when my factors have a partner, they get paired up to go into the LCD just once. My LCD, remember, is my least common denominator. I know that that word least sounds like it would only be the two that I highlighted, but it is in fact everything. It just means that if I have a partner, I only go into the LCD once. So the twos go in, the 3 by itself goes in, the u's that have paired up go in, and then the u by itself goes in. 3 times 2 is 6, and u times u would be u squared. Now I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to take my two expressions, my two rational expressions, and I'm going to go ahead and subtract them. Now remember, subtraction is special. It is going to be beneficial for me to make sure that I pay attention to the sign on the second expression's numerator, the top of the second expression. Okay, so I'm just going to grab this and I'm going to look right over here at my factors and I'm going to cross out the 2 and the u that are in the circle that I brought over. What's left, the 3 and the u, are what I'm going to multiply by. I'm going to multiply by that on the bottom so that I get 6u squared, and I'm going to multiply it on the top. Now let's go ahead to the other expression, but some of you might notice this is the LCD. Yes, it is. So if I bring the LCD over to the LCD to cross it out, I'm not only going to cross out the two u's, but I'm going to cross out the 2 times 3. I've crossed everybody out. That does not mean I multiply by 0, because remember, when we multiply by 0, we get 0. So I'm actually multiplying by 1 because there is that sneaky invisible 1 over there that doesn't really change anything. 1 times 6 is 6. So this is what I'm going to multiply by. All right, so let's go ahead and multiply here. The 3 gets multiplied by the -5 to give me -15, and the u just tags along. On the bottom, I am going to get my LCD of 6u cubed. Remember, when we subtract, every sign in the second numerator changes. So everything up here in the second numerator changes. Now for this one, it's not really a worry because I'm just going to be multiplying 7 times 1. So 7 is going to just become -7. But remember, if there was a plus after it, that would become a minus, and a minus, of course, would become a plus. If it had been a -7, it would become then a +7. Remember, when you are multiplying, in this case, no crisscross, that is incorrect. We want to multiply top to top, bottom to bottom, numerator to numerator, denominator to denominator. All right, now we're going to go ahead and we're going to notice that our two denominators are in fact the same. This means that we can subtract. I'm going to subtract them over their common denominator. So there's my subtraction on the top. Remember, I write out the subtraction and then I decide if I can actually subtract. I cannot subtract because the 15 has a u and the 7 does not. So I cannot actually subtract. The next thing that I'm looking for is can I factor? So I'm going to look right down here. I have an even number and an odd number. I'm probably not going to be able to factor this. Now you might be thinking, but this is 2 times 3, and this is 3 times 5, but 7 is 1 times 7, and it is not 3 times anything. I cannot factor. This is my final answer. All right, let's go ahead and take a look at the next one. In the next one, I'm going to notice that this factor right here, this denominator might be factorable, maybe. I'm kind of questioning it. Um, as I write it down over here, I'm going to think a little bit more. Is there a number that goes into both 8 and 7? So I'm going to be looking at 8. Well, 1 times 8, 2 times 4, but 7 is only 1 times 7. This is not factorable, so but it looks like a factor if I were to have factored a polynomial. So I'm going to go ahead and put it in parentheses. Now 9 times x, yes, I can think of that as 3 times 3, but since there's no 3 up above, I'm just going to go ahead and think about it as 9 times x. Since there is no common, there's nothing in common between these two, I'm going to go ahead and say that my LCD is the 9x times my expression 8x minus 7. You could put a times in between if you'd like. No, there's no need to distribute because it's just going to make you have to factor at the end. All right, let's go ahead and do our multiplication so that we can once again subtract. I don't know why I got so much subtractions, but that's a good thing, I think. All right, so here is my pink denominator. Now, it is a good rule of thumb that you're going to probably have to multiply by the purple. But remember, it might not be exactly the purple. So let's go right over here. You're going to cross it out, and yep, we're going to multiply by the purple in this case. Let's go ahead and do the other one, the purple denominator. And if you were thinking, well, we're just going to multiply by the pink, let's see. Yep, you're right. We're just going to multiply by the pink one. There we go. All right, so let's go ahead and do our multiplication. Now, for the first one, I'm going to change it to my common denominator. There we go, my LCD. And 9x times x would be 9x squared. Remember, the subtraction is going to change any sign if we're adding or subtracting up here. So let me go ahead and see. There's my common denominator. I'm just a little worried. And let me tell you why I'm a little worried. I'm a little worried because I think we have to distribute both of those. There we go. And we have to do the foiling. So I'm going to go ahead and change my pen color, and I'm going to do that. So I'm going to get 8x squared when I multiply x times 8x, and I'm going to get minus 7x when I multiply x times the negative 7. I'm going to get 16x when I multiply 2 times 8, and I'm going to get minus 14 when I multiply right there. Now I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to combine my like terms. I set it up in this way on purpose because there are my like terms. 9, right? Plus 9. So there we go. There is my numerator. Now remember, we are subtracting. We are subtracting. So this is that, right? And we are subtracting. So this is going to become a minus. This is going to become a minus. And this is going to become a plus. So let's go ahead and do that. Ooh, I hope I have enough space. So I have my 9x squared from the first one, minus the 8x squared from the gray off to the side, minus 9x plus 14, because remember that this minus right here changes it to minus, changes it to plus, changes that. This minus becomes this minus right here. All right, I'm going to go ahead and write down my denominator. There we go. And I guess I didn't show you, but remember right here, they are common. All right, I'm going to go ahead and combine together. I guess I can show you with the blue. I'm going to combine together those two, which does leave me with x squared, 1x squared minus 9x plus 14. Now I have to make a decision. Do I need to factor the numerator? Do I need to factor this on the top? One reason to factor it is it's going to give me a 9x or it's going to give me a 8x minus 7. Now I'm thinking right now that it could give me that minus 7, but I don't think it's going to give me the 8. Um, 14 is 2 times 7, and 2 plus 7 equals 9. And if I make them negative, I get negative 9, which is right here. And that concerns me. That means that I can factor this into x minus 2 and x minus 7. But is this going to cancel that? No, because the 8's missing. So there's no need to actually factor past that. Ooh, that was a close one. There we go. That's our final answer. All right. I wanted to show you another one, and I don't know why I kept getting so much subtractions, but I did. I really think that's a great thing for you guys, though. All right, so we're going to subtract. But before we do, I noticed that this can be factored. It is, in fact, 6 times x plus 4, right? Because 24 is 6 times 4. And I noticed that this can be factored as well. I can factor out a 5, and I get x plus 4. So notice that I do have a common factor here. It is, in fact, this one right here. It is the common one. So my LCD is going to be 6 times 5 times the x plus 4, but only the one time. 6 times 5 is, of course, 30, and then I would have x plus 4. And I could go ahead and leave my LCD like this. All right, let's go ahead and get multiplying so that we can actually, there we go, so that we can actually subtract. So here is my pink denominator, and I've got to figure out what to multiply it by. So I'm going to grab this. Oop, let me grab it again. Let me grab this, and I'm going to come right over here. Now, the x, 6x to the 24th means I cross out the 6 and I cross out this. How do I know? I'm looking right up here. I'm looking right up here, guys, to know what to cross out. So I'm going to multiply by 5. There we go. Minus, and remember that's going to change the sign of anything we have in the numerator, but it looks like the numerator is just going to be something times x. Let's go ahead and take a look at the purple one. Oops, there we go. I'm going to come right over here. How do I know what to cross out? I'm going to look right here, 5 and x plus 4. I'm going to multiply by 6. This one doesn't look so bad after all. Okay, so 5 times 6 is 30, and the x tags along, and my common denominator is going to be this. I'm subtracting. X times 6 is 6x, and my common denominator is going to be that. There we go. So let's go ahead and just visually with our eyes, that's what my highlighter is doing. Now I can go ahead and subtract. Since they are both an x, I can actually subtract 30 minus 6. I can actually subtract that. I do believe that's 22x. There we go. I'm going to double check that really fast, but I really do think that that's 22x because 10 minus 6 would be, oh no, it's 24, isn't it? There we go. I just thought it, I just fixed it as I was checking. It's 24. I was thinking times 2, 12. There we go. Okay. I think we can actually factor this one. Take a look. 24 and 30 are both even. So I can go ahead and I can factor out. So I can just basically take 24 and divide it by 30. If I can do that in a graphing calculator or my scientific calculator, it will tell me which fraction it is. I don't have that right now, so I'm just going to start dividing by 2. until I can't anymore. So that's 12. There's 6. Let me come down here. Hold on. Uh-oh. By 2, that's 12. So I couldn't go by 2 again, but I think I could go by 3. There we go. 4 over 5. These are the two that I'm going to use. So if you noticed, what I did was I just tried to divide by 2 until I couldn't add any more. I could keep dividing by 2 on the top, but I couldn't on the bottom. So that's why I went ahead and switched to the 3. But like I said, you could put 24 divided by 30 inside the graphing calculator or the scientific one that we have in our groups, and it will do that for you. All right, last one, and once again, a subtract. What I notice about this one though is that they are factorable. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to factor these two guys. I'm going to take the pink one and I'm going to take the purple one and I'm going to factor them. So let's take a look right here. And then right here. And then this is going to help me get my LCD. Okay. Let me grab my blue. So 2x squared, remember we think of that as x and 2x, and then we're going to look at the 27. Now 27 is 1 times 27. It's rarely that one. 3 times 9. Ooh, is that even factorable? 3 times, oh, but maybe with the 2. Hold on. 3 times 9. Let's try this. Let's try 3 times 9. Let me see. I think this is going to work because look, this is 6x and this is 9x. And I'm pretty sure I can make that be the negative 3x in the middle if this is a negative, which means there's the subtraction, and this is positive. Whew, that was kind of, I was a little worried there for a second. All right, let's take a look at the next one. 2x squared, once again, x and 2x and 18. Now it's probably not going to be 1 times 18. 2 times 9. I'm thinking because if I put it like this, that would give me 4. And that would give me 9. Is that 13? Yeah, right? 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. There we go. There it is. So I just have to kind of think a little bit. After 2 times 9, I would have tried 3 times 6. But of course, I didn't think. I was thinking 3 times 6, but then I looked and I thought, maybe. They both have to be negative to give me negative 13x. Oh, no, that's not a, hold on. That shouldn't be a 2. 2 times 2 is 4. There we go. There we go. So negative and negative. So here we go. LCD. LCD. Let's see if we have any that are the same. So if you look, we've got this one and this one that are the same. Those are my two factors that are the same. So they get to go to the LCD once, and then the other two factors go as well, x plus 3 and x minus 2. Now I wouldn't put them this way, but I was just running out of space. Okay, so let's go ahead and multiply. Actually, you know what? I'm going to do my multiplying up here because I'm running out of space. Oh my gosh. Here we go. Okay, so let's go ahead and look at the pink one down here. Remember that you're going to cross these two out. These are the two that you're going to cross out. So there we go. We're going to multiply by x minus 2. We're going to multiply by x minus 2. Bottom and top. There we go. And then once again, you're going to come down here. These are the two that you're going to cross out, and we're going to multiply by x plus 3. X plus 3. X plus 3. Okay, so when we start multiplying, we're going to have 9 times x minus 2. I'm going to have to go ahead and distribute. I'm going to have to go ahead and distribute that. And then I get 2x minus 9 times x plus 3 times x minus 2. I'm going to go ahead and subtract. Let me bring my subtraction sign back. And once again, we're going to have that distributing. I'm going to have to make sure that I change my sign because the negative, the minus in pink is going to make that plus inside the parentheses here in this expression change to a minus. So there we go. I just have to keep that in mind. Ah, I feel like I don't have it though, Mrs. Palmer. Here we go. Minus 3x minus 9. So that was also changing this through. Remember, it's going to make this a minus, and it's also going to change that to a minus. And the 3x came from right here, and the 9 came from 3 times 3, this multiplication right here. And likewise, the 18 came from 9 times 2. All right, my denominator stays the same. I like these problems because it's a lot of just copy, copy, copy. There we go. And let's go ahead and put together our common terms on the top. So I'll use my marker to show the common. So I'm going to go ahead and put those two together. 9 minus 3 is 6x. And then I'm going to use my pink to put together these negative 18 minus 9. That would be negative 27. Yeah, let me double check. I'm just double checking because I think I'm going to have to factor. Oh, no, maybe not. Let me show you why I was thinking I had to factor. And let me tell you why I was thinking I had to factor. 6 and 27 are both factors of 3. This is 2 times 3, and this is 3 times 9. And notice I have this factor of 3. But what would get canceled out, what would factor out is my GCF of 3, and then I would have this, and it doesn't factor. This is not going to come down here. Oh, I guess it would be, no, wait. No, yes, it does. Oh, it does. No, 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 it does. Did you guys see that? I don't know if you saw that, but look. So my GCF, let me grab my GCF color, is 3. Right? So if I factor out the GCF here on the top, I get 3. Oh, I'm running out of so much space. And then look what I get. No way. Do you guys see that? The denominator is going to be the same. I'm just going to use the little tick marks because I'm running out of space. But look what happens, you guys. Look what happens. This is going to cancel that. And so what's my final answer? My final answer is going to be 3 on the top, and then x plus 3 times x minus 2. Oh my gosh. All right, good luck on your quiz, you guys. If you need anything, please let me know.